Welcome back to the Rules of Engagement. Before I jump into game number 2 between Bomber and Goswser, let me remind you, every piece of content we do here at MLG Live, it all goes to VODs on YouTube for free 1080p quality. That includes the Winter Championship. That includes the Winter Season Showdowns, the Winter Exhibition Tournament, the WCS Tournament, and of course, every episode of Rules of Engagement. All there, 1080p quality, youtube.com/official. MLGSC2, of course, also top 5s, top 10s, comments of the day, lots of premium Starcraft content. Now let's jump into analyzing Bomber vs. Goswser, game number 2. A couple things I want to talk about in this game are going to be the best defense. A lot of you guys may have finished that sentence and know what I'm going to get to, but we'll jump to that in a minute. Following up a winning battle, the correct way to follow that up, and then the proper time to attack and the proper time to defend, and the theory of kind of attack and defense flow throughout the game. So we're going to jump into this replay a little bit further on at the 10:30 mark. We can see here this map is Whirlwind. Both players macroed up to 3 bases, and this is where Goswser adopts the position. The best defense is a great offense, right? He's going to put the pressure onto Bomber. And why is he going to do the pressure on the Bomber? It's because Whirlwind is a great map for drop play. We can see Bomber starting to get those medevacs out. Drops are very, very dangerous in Whirlwind. Bomber setting up a nice defensive line, and he's going to just use devastating drops throughout the game because the map's so spread out. You can drop back to third. You can drop straight into the main. And Ghosty's just like, you know what? I really don't have to deal drops. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to launch this massive invasion at him. And one of two things will happen. He'll either have to keep all his units back for defense, or if he has units out here doing drop play, right, that's less units he has to defend, and this attack can all of a sudden be very, very devastating. And so we see that right now, right? There's 10 food over here dropping to third, 10 food over here dropping to main. That's 20 less food for defense. That's a great time to strike your opponent. That's exactly what Goswser does. Comes in here, and yes, there's a great defense setup, but there's just not enough units because he's busy dropping, and Goswser said, I'm not going to defend the drops. I'm going to utilize the fact that he's going to be weak and go on the offense. And we can see here he's got some units here. The third has to be evacuated. Even the natural has to be evacuated. A Bomber's reset basically back to a single base. A lot of these SCVs here are going to go down as well. Now, of course, the drops are going to do a lot of damage as well, right? So it's a kind of a trade of blows here. But the idea is that Goswser ideally won't lose too many hatcheries. And if you look at this, he's lost a lot of drones, but hopefully he can rebuild this. He's going to defend his third base. The main base, ideally, he defend as well with all these roaches popping up, and hopefully hold that back in addition to the queens. If he can hold on to a couple mining bases and deny the mining bases from Bomber, he'll be in pretty good shape here, right? Unfortunately, what he does is he retreats a lot of these units that didn't quite... I think he could have delayed Bomber from taking these bases for a little bit longer, because as we see here, these roaches that came back, he sent 10 roaches back that didn't need to go back. He could have held these drops off with half as many units, and the other half really could have, as we see here, Bomber couldn't have really gone out and taken the space. And if Bomber doesn't take his expansion very soon, he's just mining off his main, which of course will mine off very quickly. So I like the idea that Goswser did, of throwing the attack off, knowing that Bomber going for the drop play because it's Whirlwind would be weak at home. And it was really good theory. I don't know how well it paid off. But you know what? It still paid off pretty well. If you take a hold of things, the worker count is roughly even, right? That's not that great for Goswser, but Goswser has 4 bases, so if he applies his resources to drones, he should be able to catch up in worker count. And Bomber's army is pretty small and scrappy, so Goswser might be able to go ahead and deny these bases again and again, which is exactly why Bomber's getting all these bunkers to make sure that doesn't happen. So going forward, now it's kind of a lull in the game. Bomber's going to continue to do some annoying drop harass. But Goswser being in a defensive formation should be to deflect these drops without too much of a problem. He's some more roaches coming up here very shortly. Main denied again, but it's still 3 fresh bases without a main. So he's behind in tech. He's got 3 fresh bases, and Bomber has really 3 not-so-fresh bases because of all the heavy mule usage. Both players are going to macro up. Goswser's going to go ahead and add in some more infestors. I'm just going to fast forward this replay for the next minute or two. More drop play, more defense. The game's going to evolve and kind of stabilize. We can see here the food counts are very even. The tech of both players is pretty even, with Bomber going to be a little bit ahead in upgrades, but Goswser having those infestors out to really help supplement his army. wherever those infestors are at. He's got 9 infestors out somewhere. So those are going to be very cost efficient, even though he's behind in upgrades, and he's got more minerals in his bases. Bomber's going to try to take a 4th base, and this is just something that Goswser really can't let happen, because he's behind in upgrades. He's kind of stuck defending these drops. If Bomber can keep his economy going strong with this 4th base, Goswser is going to be in trouble, right? So Goswser wants to look to deny that base, wants to go for big push out. And as soon as he basically finishes getting these speedings, he might wait for Hive, or he might just go because he's already maxed out and try to trade away some of his units before he can replace them with Hive Tech. So we can see here, as he's going to go into engagement, one thing I want to point out is look at Goswser before the engagement. Look at his spread. He's got units up here, units all the way across the middle of the line. And all he has to do, if he has this spread, is tell them all to converge on a single point, and he can really do a lot of damage to Bomber. And look at Bomber. Bomber's a little spread out too, but one thing we're going to notice is these units over here, right? All Bomber's units here. Ideally, this section should be up here. And the reason why those units should really be over on this side is because a Terran player doesn't want to have the units too much spread out. They want to have the units spread out a little bit against Banings, but they don't want to be isolated by this factor here. They want to really all be in the same zone, so micro-wise what they can do, they can grab the tanks and focus fire Banings. If he does that now, these tanks will have a hard time focus firing the Banings he wants over here, and vice versa. It's also going to be much harder to stutter step the Marines and spread them during battle if you spread out across multiple kind of divides. So that's one disadvantage Bomber has going for him, is he moved out a little bit hastily and doesn't keep his units in the ideal position, as opposed to Goswser, who has a great positioning on Bomber. We can see here, as he comes in for that engagement, these Marines have a hard time being microed at the same time as these Marines. The tanks have a hard time focus firing. The Banings get decent connections combined with the fungal growths. And Goswser takes this battle pretty well, right? I mean, Bomber's macroing up, back up. He's not behind too far in food, down by about 30. But Goswser definitely won that battle. He still has a lot of units, whereas Bomber just has the one depot and a couple, or one Marauder in the bunker and a couple Marines left. So going forward, right, this is what's very important. When you win one of these major engagements, after you win a battle, the way to follow it up, you say, okay, I've got a short amount of time. Well, I have the superior army. During this short amount of time, what I want to do is find my opponent's most important mining base and take it out, right? Now, you can do that because it takes your opponent, especially as Terran, a little while to rebuild an army. And especially as Terran, that army starts in their main base because of the rally points. So you definitely have time if we jump in this game here. If Goswser grabbed all these units, and importantly the infestors, because fungals could be important at killing SCVs, and just immediately cut back and over to his 4th base, he would kill this planetary very, very quickly and efficiently, lay some fungals on the SCVs, and he's got 11 roaches and like almost 24 zerglings that can take down a planetary as long as he uses the fungals to take down his SCVs, plus 64 more speedlings rallied in would really help him out. He could even morph some Banings on the way if he wanted to. Unfortunately, Goswser, he's up against Bomber. He smells blood in the water, and he says, you know what? I think I might be able to do a little more than that. I think I can go for the production. So he's going to morph a lot of Banings here, which is exactly what he should do. But instead of going for that 4th planetary, the most important mining base, his eyes get big. And if he can kill the production, it'll for sure end the game. So he goes for the production of Bomber. But remember, the production of Bomber is where his newly rallied units are, plus trying to go up a ramp. He does get a good amount of SCVs here, but he lost a lot of Banelings, and unfortunately loses some time where he could potentially take out that important mining base. Remember, the SCV count at this stage isn't actually that insanely important. It's nice to kill them, but the most important thing against Terran is denying a mining base, because you kill SCVs, they still have mules. You deny mineral patches, they have no way to get that income. So ideally, you really want to strike at this base. Bomber realizes that's the next target, and he has time to get some more supporting units going in there. Now, Goswser, fortunately, has the economy to morph a lot more Banings, and then he's going to go for a secondary attack. But this attack's going to be a little more expensive because of all these units here to reinforce it. Great fungals make it actually a pretty good trade, and he's going to just barely be able to take out this planetary. As we can see here, the Banings and the fungals really isolating SCVs, and the roaches taking out this planetary. But man, if there's just a couple more SCVs or a couple more units and he failed to get this planetary, it could have been a lot different and a lot worse for him. But going forward, he's still in a pretty good position, which is really impressive against Bomber, right? He saved up a lot of money that can all be used to remax in Ultralisk, right? And he just denied the 4th base of Bomber. So going forward, as soon as Bomber mines out these 2 bases, which are very close to being mined out, he'll be starved out and be unable to continue the game. So this is where it's really important to understand attack and defense, right? Who should attack, who should defend? Well, if you feel compelled to attack, you're going to want to attack. And your opponent, knowing you're going to feel compelled to attack, can force you to engage in a poor position as long as they're consolidated. We can see that Bomber knows he's weak. He's establishing a great defensive position. But Goswser should know that as long as he defends this drop play, right, which drop play is going to be annoying, but it's not going to totally end the game, especially with the Vipers, more sack defense, more Ultra Distance speediness. He should be able to deal with this drop play without losing too many units. And eventually, the drop play can be cost efficient, but eventually Bomber's going to have to move out and take a 4th base. So what Goswser has to do is defend until the 4th base is taken, and then in the action of taking the 4th base, Bomber will have to spread his tank line out more in a greater degree, and Goswser can get a much better engagement. Bomber, of course, is going to basically want to wait as long as possible till he has a strong enough army if he feels he can take the 4th base. Right here, Goswser summons up all his forces. He's got a great army. He's got 200 food. And because of that food advantage, because of the fact it's Ultralisk with very good upgrades, almost fully maxed, a lot of Banings, a lot of Infestors. We look at the army tab, and it's basically dead even, but I feel that Goswser's composition is actually slightly superior. Ultralisk, Baning, and Infestor versus the Ravens aren't always that amazing against his composition. Now, Bomber does an awesome trick we'll check out here, but really, the Bio Tank, Ultralisk, Infestor should do slightly better against, given equal cost. Also, Bomber, Goswser has the better ability to replenish his forces. But, as we can see here, because he attacks in this bad position in this little narrow choke point, where Bomber's forces are really well allocated with all the tanks back there, Bomber pulls a great move, Secret Missile his own medevac, and placing it over the bulk of the Banings, so the Banings are really neutralized there. And then, of course, with all the Siege tanks, the Bio, the Ultras fall down very fast without that Baning support coming in behind him. Also, Bomber, Goswser lost the vast majority of his forces. Bomber can move out and attack, and with all these reinforcements, with a swift attack, he can knock out Goswser's key mining bases before Goswser can release the economic advantage to get back in the game. So we're going to stop it right here. Bomber goes on to win this game. But what's really important is that decision to attack. Right? Yes, Bomber pulled some cool micro moves to win that game on the defense, but imagine if Goswser didn't come in through choke. If he waited, Bomber would have either had to move out. Over the next 2 minutes, Bomber would mine out all 3 of his bases. He would either have to move out and attack, and then Goswser can hit him into open, and we've seen what Goswser does into open when he sets up those great flanks. Or Bomber would have to try to take a 4th base, and also have to spread his tank line further, and again, Goswser could get a much better spread as he comes into attack. Secret Missiles, Siege Tanks are all less effective. So that's where it's really important to understand. If your opponent is basically behind in economy, then you shouldn't attack until they try to catch up in economy. You should make sure that if you do an engagement, it's because they moved out, you have a great position, or because they spread themselves out too far and you have a great position. Never feel compelled to attack into a poor position if you have a stronger economy. That's a very essential part of StarCraft 2. Goswser, unfortunately, made the wrong decision there, charging with choke point, and paid the heavy price, as the Greyjoys would say, the iron price, losing all his units there, and lost that game. So wraps up the analysis for game number 2 between Goswser and Bomber. Game number 3 we're going to skip now. That was a very long game. I actually did a Rules of Engagement about 2 weeks ago just on that specific game. It was an amazing game on Newkirk City. So please, if you want to check that out, youtube.com/officialmlgsc2. Look for the Rules of Engagement playlist and search for either Bomber or Goswser. You can check out that game. But after this coming break, we'll take a look at game number 4 between Goswser and Bomber.